Everybody is not coming back at you on a video. So with this video, I wanted to break down and explain your state of being and to have you understand that your state of being is always the first step to creation. Now, when I say state of being, I'm referring to how you are. Typically, the emotions that you're feeling, but generally, how you are feeling as a person. And the reason why state of being is the first step of creation is because your state of being determines the thoughts that you think, right? And then from the thoughts, eventually lead to the actions that you take, et cetera, et cetera. So they're all interconnected, right? This is why you always want to focus on your state of being. Ideally, you want to be as happy as often as possible, right? For as long as possible, for as often as possible, right? Because the goal of this lifetime for us, whether or not know it, I mean, you know it innately, but whether or not you like explicitly know it, is that we're here to experience outrageous joy. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy this lifestyle. That's the only reason, the only purpose we were put here on earth, right? And it may sound silly. You're probably thinking, "Oh, well, I was here to put on earth to accomplish all these great things and to, do X, Y, Z and fulfill my purpose." Fulfilling your purpose, the reason to do that is to give you joy, right? And you want to accomplish all these great things because you feel that accomplishing these things will make you feel good. It'll make you feel better than not accomplishing it, right? Like if you were to get over the hump, you believe you want to do that because you believe that it will make you feel better in doing so, right? The same reason why you want anything in this lifetime, right? It's to experience outrageous joy. So joy is the goal. However, your state you can be in different states, right? Of course, you can be in a positive state, you can be in a negative state, or your state can be dictated by the fault, which is essentially whatever life throws at you is what you're going to absorb, right? So if something quote unquote bad happens in your life, you're going to react to that negatively. And so that's you. Your state is being dictated by the fault. You're not in control of your state. Now, the reason why the state of being is the first step to creation is because, like I mentioned earlier, the state is what determines the thoughts that you think. Because, for example, right, let's do an example so you don't think I'm, making stuff up. If right now your state of being is one of hunger, right? Say, for example, your stomach growls and you feel hungry. Of course, the thought that's going to cross your mind is, I am hungry. I should go look for food. I should go, right? You're going to be thinking about food because you're in a state of hunger. Very normal, right? So, of course, your state is what determined what you're thinking, right? Because if you were not in a state of hunger, you probably wouldn't be thinking about food, right? You might be thinking about it as far as like planning ahead, but like chances are, if you're not hungry, you're probably not thinking thoughts of hunger, right? And it's the same idea with your emotions as well. If you're feeling positive emotions, if you're feeling gratitude, excitement, you're feeling good, you'll be thinking good thoughts, and vice versa for the contrary. If you're feeling bad, right, you'll be thinking bad thoughts. It's not possible to feel good and think bad thoughts, right? Like can't do that because those are on different planes, right? Those are on different levels. So this is why your state of being is always the first step to creation, because if you want to create good in your life, then that would mean the goal would be to focus on how you're feeling, right? What your state of being is. And if it's not to where you want it to be, then you want to try to find ways to improve it, right? So ideally, your goal is to always try to feel as good as you can and to always find ways to keep feeling better, right? That should be your goal all the time, because if you're always feeling good, if you're always smiling, if you're always excited, if you're always optimistic, then those are the thoughts that are going to cross your mind, right? On that same playing field, that same level, that same energy. And then if you're thinking good thoughts and positive thoughts, then you'll be taking good action and positive action, right? Let's flip it on the contrary, if you were feeling bad, chances are you're thinking bad thoughts, right? And then the bad thoughts will lead to taking the bad action, or in other cases, inaction, right? Because, for example, someone may be worried or anxious that they're never going to succeed. So let's just say that's what they're feeling. They're feeling worry and anxiousness and concern. And they start thinking, I'm never going to succeed. I'm never going to win. And so because they're thinking that, they refuse to take action towards their goal, their dream, because they think it's a waste of time, because they believe they're not going to win. It makes sense how it's all like, it's very logical, right? It's like, I'm anxious, I'm worried, and I don't think I'm ever going to succeed in something, so I'm not going to waste my time taking action, right? That's how most people would operate in a given field or something that they want to pursue when they think that they're just not going to win at something. Obviously, if you were feeling good about it, you feel like you had a good idea, you have like the juices flowing, the energy's like rushing, and you're getting good thoughts, good ideas, right? Like, oftentimes people get their best ideas when they're feeling good. And then chances are you'll take action on that because you're excited, you're looking forward to taking action on that. So it's all interconnected, and it all boils back down to your state of being, right? Essentially, how you're feeling. Oftentimes you'll hear a lot of it in like a lot of the personal development and these growth books, that they'll say the fastest way to figure out what you're thinking is to figure out how you're feeling, because your feelings is what determines what you're thinking. And of course, that is true, right? And I presented examples for you guys. So we need to understand, of course, being the title of this video, that your state of being is always the first step to creation. So you always want to focus on your state of being. And if your state of being is not where you want it to be, then focus on getting it up there, right? Now, of course, that may be is rather simple and I guess easy to do, because we know how we're feeling, and we focus on our happiness, then we can get there. Of course, there might be moments where it may be more challenging than others, of course, because we're human, and things happen, life happens, right? But that's not to say it's impossible, right? It is possible, right? If you can find joy in this moment, and then the next moment, and the next moment, right, then you can technically find joy and be happy from now to the rest of your life, right? That is possible. For most people, it's just generally unlikely, because they're not focused on their feelings, they're not focused on their happiness, and always trying to work towards that. So that's why oftentimes people create by default, because whatever life throws at them, they'll just react to it rather than responding, right? Which responding is being able to see what happened, remaining cool, calm, and collected, and then trying to figure out how to move forward from it, right? Or how you can succeed, or how the situation is advantageous to you, right? Most people, when any event happens, they'll immediately react, right? And if it's something that is not to their liking, they'll react with anger, frustration, right? There's some people who will always make the claim that they can't control their emotions, which you can, but oftentimes for some people, that's a coping mechanism. That's what they tell themselves. And then what they tell themselves is what they end up believing. And so even though they do have control over their emotions, they'll say that they don't, as their justification for just letting loose. But at the same time, remember, guys, if at any moment other people or the environment or media or whatever can control your emotions, can make you feel all these things, then they, whether you know it or not, they have control over you, right? If someone can just say something to you and immediately get you angry or frustrated, then that means other people have control over you, right? That's what it is. So you want to make sure, and I understand that this won't necessarily be like an overnight process, right? Because many people have been brought up and conditioned by the environment to be operating this way, and this is basically trying to like rewire everything and start anew and start the right way. But you want to make sure that you're able to control your emotions and your state of being, and always prioritize trying to feel good, or trying to feel happy, or feeling secure, right? Begin feeling the emotions of what you want to bring into your life, because that is how you begin attracting those things into your life, right? So if you want to create peace in your life, you must first become peace. You must first feel it, that sensation of relaxation, right? If you want to create love or great things or positive things in your life, you must begin feeling that about yourself and feeling that about the world around you so that you can create that in your life. It's not by accident. Creation is not create. You can be deliberate when creating, but most people create by default because most people are just unaware of what they're feeling and what they're thinking. And it's not a focus for them. So I'm doing this video to help raise your awareness, to help you focus on your state of being, because it's one of the most important, if not the most important thing for you to be, fixated on. You want to make sure you're vibrating high. You want to make sure you're feeling good, that you're feeling your best, because then when you're feeling your best, that's when the best begins to unfold for you. That's when life becomes really fun, because it feels as though like the winds are just flowing, that everything is just flowing easy and effortless to you, and you're just enjoying everything that life is making its way to you. So your state of being, once again, is always the first step to creation. Don't forget it, right? Because your state of being is what determines your thoughts, and thoughts determine the action, all these things, right? So focus on that. Focus on your state of being. You want to make sure you're prioritizing feeling good. If you need a pick me up, right? Have these things that you can do to immediately raise your vibration, whether it's listening to music, going for a walk outside, getting yourself a nice treat, working out, getting a massage, whatever it is, or journaling, or doing gratitude or affirmations, right? Whatever it is, have a few things that'll help make you feel good, help make you feel positive and optimistic about everything. Because trust me, guys, everything is gonna go well for you, and things are on the rise, right? So just wanted to leave that video here with you guys. To always focus on your state of being, always focus on being happy, positive, and optimistic, because then things will begin improving for you virtually immediately. So just wanted to leave you guys with that one. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, guys. Once again, guys, this is Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next video.